Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum and welcome to our presentations. Me, Nur Akila, as your first presentator, will be guiding you guys through the first part of our presentations, and after my parts, my other teammates will explain further for you guys. Now, I have a question for you guys. Have you ever imagined that you are telling a story about your weekend but accidentally mix up the tenses and end up saying, I will eat pizza yesterday? What? Confusing, right? So that's the power of tenses. They can make or break your messages. So today we're going to break down the basic of tenses, which is past, present, and future, so you can tell your stories with confidence. And before I forgot, our topic today, as you can see at the screen, is about food. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. As I said earlier, tenses are divided by three, which is present, past, and future. But for my part, I'm going to explain you guys only three parts, which is simple present, present continuous, and present perfect. And the rest will be explained by my team member. Okay, now let's us go to the first part, which is present tense. Present tense here refers to the action or event that take place in the present. It represents the current activity or the present state of being in the subject in the given context. It used to indicate the current action that take place regularly. In present tense sentences, the structure typically consists of a subject, a verb, and an object. In the slide, as you can see, I have prepared three examples. The first one is sugars are found in the fruits, vegetables, and milk. The subject here, as you can see, it was the sugars, while the verb are found, and the object is the rest. For example number 2, sugar cane and sugar beets, which is the subject, are grown, the verb, specifically for the high sugar content. That one is the object. And the third one, they also have protect and insulate the body and its internal organs. The subject over here are they, while the verb are help, protect, and insulate, and the rest are the object. Okay, that's all for the present tense. Now let's us move to the second part. Next, we're going to talk about the present continuous tense, which also known as the present progressive tense. These tenses used to describe the actions that are currently happening at the moment of speaking or actions that are ongoing. The formula that we can use for present continuous is basically it begins with subjects followed by am or is or are and the verb with ing. As you can see, there's two examples I have given you in the slides. The first one, while mindful eating is about being present to experience your food as you eat it, they use mindful eating as the subject of the sentence, and they use is being as the verb for the sentence. Now, the second examples. If you eat dinner while watching TV most nights of the week, can you start by reserving Sunday nights to eat mindfully? Well, they use you in the sentence as the subject, while the verb they use are watching. Okay, now you can combine all of them with the formula. They will be you are watching. Now, do you get it? That's how they use present continuous tense. Now let's move on to present perfect tense. The present perfect tense here is used to describe actions or situations that occurred at an unspecific time in the time past and have relevance or effects in the present. It can also be used to talk about experiences or changes that have happened over the time. The present perfect tense is formed using the verb to have or has followed by the past participle of the main verb. The formula for this present perfect tense is basically subject, have plus have or has, and past participle. In the slide, as you can see, I have given you the examples, and this is how the sentence break down using the formula. The subject from the examples is the medical community, while the verb they use are has and past participle is recognized. Combined all together, this is how they show and how the present perfect tense are being used. Okay, I think that's all for me for this part. The next part will be explained by my team member.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. I am Muhammad Hafi bin Zain from T4. So for the next part, I'm going to talk about three tenses, which is the present perfect continuous, simple past, and past continuous. So for the present perfect continuous, talk about something that started in the past and still happening now, or it is also something that started in the past and is connected to something that's still happening now. So, this is how we conjugate the present perfect continuous. Firstly, we add our subject such as I or he, and then we conjugate the verb with have and has. Then we just add been after that, and then we add a verb with an ing ending such as cycling, reading, or swimming. So our sentence it sounds like I have been reading. He has been reading. So this is an example of the present perfect continuous sentence from the article that I got. So people have been using salt since the dawn of civilization to process, preserve, and enhance foods. So we can see here the subject of this sentence is people, and then have been, and using is a verb with an ing ending. Next, simple past. For simple past, we have three different parts, which is regular verbs, irregular verbs, and be verbs. For regular verbs, we must end our verb with an ed ending. Then, for irregular verb, we change the original verb form to a different verb form. So, for these two, regular and irregular verb, the verb form is same for all subject, differ from be verb, which is the verb form is changed for different subject. So for the be verb, for singular subject, we add was after it, and for the plural subject such as the students, we add were after it. So for the singular, the student was. For the plural, the students were. So this is an example of the sentence from the article that I got that said the European Food Safety Authority's Emerging Risks Report called for urgent research in the area of food emulsifiers, the gut microbiome, and long-term health effects. So, as you can see here, called. Called is the verb with an ed ending. So, next is past continuous. Past continuous is used to show that an action was ongoing till a certain time in the past. So, our sentence must be the subject plus was or were, and then the verb, and then we plus a verb with an ing ending. So, as an example, you were watching TV last night. You is a plural subject, so we use were. And then watching, we must add ing in the end of our verb. Then, I was sitting on the balcony. So, since I is a singular subject, so we use was after it, and we add ing in the end of our verb, which is sitting. So this is an example of the sentence that have past continuous in the article that I got. So, people were looking to feed starving populations with the source of protein. So, as we can see here, people is the subject. So, the subject is a plural. So, we are going to use were instead of was. And then, looking, we end our verb with an ing. So, we use looking instead of look.
Let me introduce myself first after we continue the past continuous. My name is Siti Sabrina binti Ahmad Basri. I'm from Tifo. So, past perfect tense is had plus past participle. It doesn't matter if the subject is singular or plural. The formula doesn't change it. Let's continue with the example. After the Second World War, many Japanese soldiers and farmers that had been stationed in occupied Chinese returned home. In these sentences, it used had been. The second example, coffee and the tea had also only just been introduced to England, and all the three drinks were rapidly changing how Britons socially interact with each other. In the sentence is, its use had also only just been. So that's for all for the past perfect tense. Let's continue with it is the past perfect continuous tense. It's mainly used to an ongoing action in the past. The ongoing action is either complete or interrupt. The form of this tense is very simple. It must have been plus verb plus ing at the sentences. Let's see the example for these tenses. Barbarians and other southern Germans had been enjoying the pretzel for hundreds of years. At these sentences, it just had been enjoying. Enjoying is verb plus ing. So this is the past perfect continuous tense. After the past tense is the future tense. The first one is simple future tense. Simple future tense refers to a time later than now and express facts or certainty. In this case, there is no attitude. So let's see the example for these tenses. The first one is, according to Food Trends 2024, female connoisseurs, as they are called, will stir up the industry by focusing more on social and ecological issues and setting the course for a more sustainable and diverse future. In these sentences is used will stir up the industry. The last one, in this ever-evolving food landscape, our collective commitment to innovation, sustainability, and the well-being of both people and the planet will shape a future where food inspires a positive change and resilience for future generations. In these sentences, it uses will shape. So, this is how to use the future simple present tense. So this is for me. Thank you.
We move on to the next tenses. Before that, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Fikri Izani bin Muhammad Rudi from tutorial 4. So let's continue. This is future continuous tense. What is future continuous tense? Future continuous tense is a verb tense that shows an ongoing action in the future. How we determine the sentence is using future continuous tense. So the sentence must have will be plus present participle of the verb. Let's look at the examples. The next step will be finding out new methods to attract more talented people to the food industry and improve the opportunities for a more diverse talent pool and overcome recruitment challenges. And the second one, we look at the food we'll be eating in 10 years' time and the innovative methods we'll use to grow it and cook it. So both of these sentences have will be and present participle of the verb, which is for example number 1, finding, and example number 2 is eating. Next is the future perfect tense. The definition of future perfect tense is a verb tense used for actions that will be completed before some other point in the future. How do we know the sentence is using future perfect tense? So the sentence must have, will have, plus past participle of the verb. So let's look at the examples. If the government, international financial institutions, and the world community at large allow agriculture and livestock agriculture to fall between the cracks again, we will have missed an opportunity to assist the most vulnerable groups. And the second one, Garner et al. 2010 explained that most climate models predict rises in temperature that will have mixed effects on agriculture production, possibly positive in medium latitudes but negative in the tropics, especially in areas where agriculture is already at margin. So, both of these sentences using future perfect tense, because both of these sentences have, will have, plus past participle of the verb, which is for example number 1, missed, and example number 2 is mixed. Lastly, future perfect continuous tense. The definition of future perfect continuous tense is a verb tense that describes action that will continue up until a point in the future. So how do we know the sentence is using future perfect continuous? The sentence must have, will have been, plus present participle of the verb. So let's look at the examples. She will have been cooking for hours by the time the guests arrive. And the second one, by the end of the day, she will have been cooking for 8 hours straight. So both of these sentences is using future perfect continuous tense, because both of these have, will have been, and present participle of the verb, which is cooking. So that's all from our group. I hope you enjoy watching this video, and thank you.